One of the big themes in property in 2023 was the idea of the return to the office. So lots of businesses thinking about how do they get their team members together in person more frequently. Now, if you're a remote business, the idea of an office, even as a concept, might seem completely alien to you and totally against your company's way of working. And the idea of returning to the office, just not relevant as a concept to you whatsoever. Now today I want to challenge the assumption that returning to the office is not relevant for remote companies, and I'll tell you why. When I tell you to think of an office, what do you think about? Are you thinking about the bricks and mortar, the building, the branding, your company name on the door, your plants, your desk, all of those things? Or you're imagining the people, so your teammates, your colleagues and your friends from work. Are they what the office is to you, or is it just the environment that you're in? A big trend we're seeing at the moment, I think is only going to grow through 2024, is companies falling into that second group. So a bit like a home being where the heart is, the idea of the office being where the people are. And I'll tell you exactly how that looks. If you're thinking about it through the lens of the office is the building, it's the bricks and mortar, it's the place that your team go, then there's a few things that you do need to take for granted. Obviously the location is fixed, that's never going to change. The size of the office is fixed too, so you're not going to be able to make that space any bigger. If your team get bigger or your team gets smaller, you're still paying for the same size space. In terms of contracts, you might be lucky and be on a monthly rolling agreement, but lots of companies are tied in for years at a time, and you're going to be paying for that space every single day, even on those days where it's pretty much empty. But if you think about it through the lens of the office is wherever your team members are, you don't have to commit to any of those things I just mentioned. Location can be wherever it needs to be on any given day. You might have team members who want to meet near a local transport hub that they can easily commute to. You might have sales team want to come in, hit the phones and go for drinks afterwards. Or you might have regional team members who want to meet up somewhere closer to them so they can work alongside each other. In terms of the type of space and the size of space that you're accessing, it really depends on the activity you're bringing people together for. It can be whatever size you need it to be, it can have whatever equipment you need it to have. It really is tailored to the experience that you want your team members to have on the day. Essentially, it's more about meeting and working together than it is about the physical space that your company rents. And really importantly, for remote friendly and remote first companies, office space doesn't have to be every single day, it's only when you need it. Thinking about the concept of an office as people instead of buildings can definitely be quite a difficult thing to get your head around. It really challenges all of the preconceptions we have about what office space actually is, especially if you think about attitudes pre-pandemic. And look, there's always going to be companies out there that really need a physical space of their own. Someone they can brand, someone they can point to on the map and say, this is our home. But if you're willing to challenge the assumptions that you have about what office space actually is, there are loads of solutions that jump out at you that can be more efficient and much more people-centered. You can really start to optimize your office time based on the activities that you need to do and the outcomes that you want to achieve. It could be a creative whiteboarding session for the team. It could be some social-led culture building activities for the whole company. It could be any number of things that are just better off done in person. In terms of location, I've said it before, but it can be anywhere it needs to be on the day. You don't have to force your team members into repetitive, long commutes across town in order to get into your office space. And one thing that's super important here is just stopping spending money on space that's not being used. Everyone's heard a story about a company that on Mondays and Fridays you're walking through the office and there's not even half the desks are full at that point. All of that money is just wasted every single day. If you're optimizing for just the workspace that you need for the team members that need to be there, you're only paying for the workspace that you use and you're not sinking costs into empty desks. So there is a version of the return to the office that works for remote companies. If you just view the concept of an office as wherever your team members are getting together and doing that work that's just better done in person, however frequently it needs to be, it could be once a month, it could be even less, but thinking about it in that way, then it starts to make sense. And all of this is exactly why we built Huddle on Demand, a way for remote teams to come together and enjoy all the benefits of in-person working whenever and wherever they need it.